Looking back at the Kevin Dotson trade from this offseason, it's safe to say that the LA Rams absolutely fleeced the Pittsburgh Steelers out of the trade. The Rams traded a 2024 fourth round draft pick and a 2025 fifth round draft pick in exchange for Kevin Dotson, a 2024 fifth round draft pick, and a sixth round draft pick in 2025. So the Rams didn't give up that much, and they got Kevin Dotson. And now Kevin Dotson, he's rated the best offensive lineman in the NFL per PFF for offensive guard. And the Steelers' offensive guards and offensive linemen, they have not been doing too good. They've actually been struggling and are rated way worse by PFF. So, before I get more into it, let me just give you the ratings of the other players of the Steelers' starting offensive guards who have played this season. So Isaac Seumalo, he's rated 63.8, and he's only played 357 snaps. James Daniels, he's rated a 55.9, and he's played 179 snaps. We all know he's been injured and hasn't played recently, but he's rated 55.9. Nate Herbig, who's also played in a limited capacity, 125 snaps, is rated a 55.7. So Kevin Dotson being rated at 85.3 with 192 snaps, he's 20 points higher than Isaac Seumalo, 30 points higher than James Daniels, and basically 30 points higher than Nate Herbig. Meaning that Dotson, has he suddenly got that much better at the age of 27, or is there something more that we're missing to this story? So, yes, I said Dotson, he's rated as the best offensive guard in the NFL, but when you look at all the offensive linemen, including tackles and centers, he's rated as the fourth best. So, he's up there for the best as an offensive guard and fourth best rated as a whole offensive lineman just in general. So, Dotson, his biggest issue when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers was his penalties, and he had 11 of them in 2022. And now, in a small sample size this year with the Rams, even though it's only been a few games, Dotson has yet to been flagged this season, and it seems like a dramatic change overall in his play, and just in general with his holding calls. He hasn't been getting holding penalties, and his penalties, he just has not been getting as much as he did with the Steelers. And it begs the question of why. Why has his overall schematic and overall play style changed? Maybe it's a fresh start. Maybe it is that he's not hurt anymore and he's not dealing with an injury. Maybe. But I'm just going to go more into depth of why I believe that Kevin Dotson is now succeeding with the LA Rams, and with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he was just not able to do so. And with that being said, I'm going to take it all the way back to when he was first drafted by the Steelers. You remember that year? That was a year that Kevin Dotson actually started multiple games for the Steelers as a rookie because Matt Filer got injured and David DeCastro got injured for a few games here and there. And Kevin Dotson had to be put in, and he did really good. When you look at that season and you look at him filling in for David DeCastro and filling in for Matt Filer, at some points in the season, it got to a point where he was playing so good that the fans wanted him to stay as a starter. And if you remember that playoff push where the Steelers made the playoffs and Matt Filer was injured the very last game of the season, and there was questions in doubt whether Matt Filer was going to start over Kevin Dotson if he's healthy, many of the fans didn't want Matt Filer to come back and be the starter because of how good Kevin Dotson was playing early in his rookie season. But the Steelers obviously went back to Matt Filer, as they usually do. They went back to the veteran, and then the Steelers ended up losing that playoff game like they have always have. So looking at that perspective of it, the reason why I bring that up is because usually coming into the league, coming in as a rookie, you're playing with a fire under you, and you're playing how you want to play. You haven't really been ingrained into the system as of yet. You haven't been really taught the ropes, taught the system to do certain things. You're kind of playing how you've been playing and how you want to play the game. And then later on in your career, later on down the road, then you get more into the system type of things. But Kevin Dotson, coming into the NFL, Obviously, he's going to be playing with a fire. He's going to be playing how he's been taught to play and how he's been basically playing for his entire career, which is obviously power football. And that's why he looked so good his rookie season, because he wasn't taught anything by the offensive line coach. Yes, obviously you're taught some stuff, but I mean, like, you're not really into the system 100% where you're able to just do what the coach tells you and don't worry about other stuff. He's basically probably still playing based off instincts from what he's been doing his whole life, coming in as a rookie and still kind of playing at a high pace. So that's why I believe Kevin Dotson was so good in his first year, but then ever since the offensive line coach probably got to him and the system of how the Steelers want to do stuff in the zone run type of scheme got to him, that's where he dropped off as a pass blocker and as a run blocker, and why he didn't look good after his rookie year. And not even just that, Kevin Dotson, it seems like he's been dealing with an injury for most of his time with the Steelers, and it seems like he's not been able to catch a break. It seems like whenever the media was talking about him, he's always had like an ankle injury that he was dealing with that he just couldn't get over. Maybe that's healed now and he's back to being fully healthy. Who knows? But now I'm going to take a look at the scheme and why coaching and the scheme matters. So, what does this mean? When the Steelers dumped Dotson, it was noted that a talented player who just didn't fit the Pittsburgh Steelers system was moving on to another place. And his strength was an aggressive run blocker. That was the kind of talented player, bad scheme type of fit with us. And now with the LA Rams, he's in a scheme that does what he does best: maul people in the run game and be a little less aggressive in pass protection, and just be aggressive in run protection and pushing up the field trying to run block. And that's what he does best. He's a power run blocker and a little bit of a conservative pass blocker. He's not this guy who was in Steelers system where he had to pull all the way around and run to meet his guy head on. He's not that type of player. He's too big for that. He's not as athletic for that. But that's how the Steelers use their guards. They use them as a pulling guard, make them run all the way around, and then meet the defender head on. But Rams, what they do is run Kevin Dotson straight ahead, right at the defender, and make him run block. And that's what he does best: power run blocking. But the Steelers system, they run more of a zone type of scheme where they kind of pull their guards, pull their center, and like to have athletic people on the offensive line. And that just hasn't worked out. And we wonder why it hasn't worked out. And it seems like every offensive lineman is just bad who comes to the Steelers. And it's starting to feel as though it's not even the players' faults anymore in the scheme. It's more of the fault of the offensive line coach and the offensive system as a whole. Because you look at Isaac Seumalo, he came over from the Eagles playing right guard, and he was a really good right guard last season. When you look at his stats, he didn't allow any sacks, and he only had like one penalty the whole season. And the pressures that he's allowed was like 9 for the entire season or something like that. So Isaac Seumalo coming over to the Steelers, you look at his first few games with the team, and now he's been struggling. You look at James Daniels this season, he's been struggling as well, even though he's only played a few snaps, a few games, I mean. Mason Cole, he's been struggling as well, allowing pressures. Chuks Okorafor, been struggling. Dan Moore Jr., he's been struggling. The whole Steelers offense lineman, you could just go down the list. Everyone's been struggling. And it begs the question of whether or not it's even the player's fault anymore, or is it a scheme, just a schematic of stuff, of how the Steelers run block. Are the players the Steelers have meant for the zone type of reading, the zone type of being athletic, or is they more meant to be a mauler and being meant to just put your head down and block? And a better system could make them better. And obviously with Kevin Dotson, the reason why I'm saying that the Rams fleeced them is not because he was so good with the Steelers. It's because they unlocked his real potential. Obviously, this was his real potential, being one of the top offense linemen in the league, when actually being in a good scheme, but done by good coaching. And that's why I'm saying the Steelers got robbed of Kevin Dotson. It's not just because Kevin Dotson was so good on the Steelers and they gave him away for nothing. Yes, they got back a swap of a draft pick, and that's why I believe they got fleeced. Because now Kevin Dotson, his full potential has been unlocked, and he's doing what he does best in the run blocking type of scheme and pass blocking type of scheme, and the Steelers are still struggling the offense lineman. I've always liked Kevin Dotson. I believe that he could have been really good offense lineman just from my time seeing him. I've seen the penalties that he's had, but in terms of play style, I really always liked his play style, and he's always really liked being a Pittsburgh Steeler as well. Growing up, he said he was like a fanboy, his whole room with Pittsburgh Steelers stuff. His dad, fan of Pittsburgh Steelers. His whole life, he was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and that's why when he got drafted, he was so happy. But now, being on the Rams, you get to see him in a different light because he's not with the team anymore, and we could fully see that it wasn't his fault. It's a scheme's fault. And for me, I wanted Kevin Dotson to still be on the team. I wanted him to be the left guard, Isaac Seumalo to be the right guard, and move James Daniels to center, because I don't believe Mason Cole is a good center at all, and I believe the Steelers' offensive lineman could have been really good if they used that lineup for the center, the offensive guard, and the other offensive guard position. I believe that would have been more successful than what the Steelers are doing now. But I'm not the coach. This is just me giving my rant on why I believe the Steelers got robbed of Kevin Dotson by the Los Angeles Rams this offseason when they traded him. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on the trade. Do you believe the Steelers did get fleeced or didn't? And how do you think Kevin Dotson has been doing with the Rams? Do you think the Steelers should have kept him or traded him? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for the channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post the next Steelers video. I cover everything Pittsburgh Steelers. If you want to stay in one spot, this is a spot for it. So turn on notifications, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.